Right now, we're on the eve of election night. What both sides of the aisle are doing to shore up swing state support.
Plus, a weekend car crash leaves 5 people dead. What we know as police continue to investigate the cause of the accident.
And addressing Dane County's needs, the millions of dollars expanding support for a growing population.
And that's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10.
Hello, everyone. Heavy rain is expected to stay in southern Wisconsin.
And tomorrow's an alert day. Jacob has more on the potential for severe weather. Jacob?
Yeah, as if tomorrow needed more news to cover, we are going to be seeing quite a bit of rain across Wisconsin. We've been seeing it the last 24 to 36 hours. We have had a little bit of a break today, just a few light sprinkles, but we're seeing some of that consistent rain move back into southern Wisconsin. Right now, just in the form of some light to moderate showers, but heavier rain is in the forecast for later tonight. And zooming further out, you can see all that rain firsthand just to the south of Wisconsin. All of that is expected to move up into our region. So here's a look at the rainfall forecast overnight, especially around midnight. We're going to see those showers and maybe a few storms move in, and this rain could be heavy and consistent for a few hours overnight. It does look like it will be a little bit more broken up during the day for Election Day for some locations. Other areas will be seeing that consistent rain, but other locations could see on and off rain. But when it is raining, it also could be heavy. So definitely bring that umbrella to your election day because it is going to be raining at times during the day tomorrow for our entire region. I'll talk more in detail through the rainfall forecast coming up a little bit later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Now, each of the major party candidates is sprinting through the swing states on this eve of Election Day.
Our Maddie Heimsch brings us their final pitches to voters and details from J.D. Vance and Tim Walz's visits to Wisconsin.
A typical stump speech will see a politician trying to convince voters that their party, their policies, and their candidate is better than their opponents. But on the eve of Election Day, they have different priorities.
24 hours, Milwaukee.
Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, Donald Trump, and J.D. Vance took to the podium 15 times on Monday alone, moving through the swing states of North Carolina, Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. The message: get out the vote.
If you woke up on Wednesday morning and found out that Kamala Harris had won the state of Wisconsin by 90 votes. The margin in Florida in 2000 was that tiny. So ask yourself, what would you do differently over the next 24 hours if you knew that we were going to lose by 90 votes?
And that message was critical for Democrats to deliver in Milwaukee. Milwaukee and Madison are the primary sources of Wisconsin's blue votes, but Milwaukee turns out at lower rates. That's according to Marquette Law School polling, making it a critical county for Walz to energize in the final hours.
When everything was on the line, when that little one asked you, what did you do during that election? You're going to be able to answer every damn thing I could. Every damn thing I could.
Harris, Walz, Trump, and Vance all have additional stops on their calendars in the final hours before polls close. Reporting in Milwaukee County, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
And Wisconsin's DMV extends its hours ahead of the election. Tomorrow, service centers will remain open until 6 p.m. The extended hours will help those needing a photo ID some time to visit the DMV. The DMV offers ID cards for voting purposes to U.S. citizens free of charge. The Wisconsin Election Commission's website explains the options for IDs that you can show at the polls.
In the Milwaukee suburb of Waukesha, Democrats are trying to shift a long-standing Republican stronghold.
But one thing striking voters there and really everywhere around the nation is election fatigue. Our Braden Ross has more on how voters are feeling.
I just want a new president.
With less than 24 hours until the polls are open on Election Day, Wisconsin voters are ready for campaign season to end.
I'm feeling lifted because it's one more day. Get done with this.
Many of the voters we encountered in Waukesha said they were one of the more than 1 million Wisconsinites who voted early this year.
Honestly, I just had the time to go do it last week, so I just went ahead.
I didn't want to sit around and wait to the last because you don't know what's going to happen or if I'm in the hospital or, anything. So just wanted to get it done.
Others like the tradition of casting their ballots on Election Day.
I'm going to get up, drink about a pot of coffee, go wait in the lines.
I go and vote with my dad. And he and I have just kind of always had a tradition of going on voting day.
As far as how voters are feeling on Election Eve,
I'm anxious in the sense that they say it every time, right? This is the most consequential election, but this feels like the one.
If you had to make a prediction, who do you think will win?
Kamala.
Oh, boy.
I'm voting for Harris. I think she's going to win. I think it's going to be close. So,
no matter who's supporting who, nobody really wants a collapse of our nation. So I think that we're going to be fine.
Braden Ross reporting. Tomorrow, News 3 Now will have all of your election coverage needs. We'll start at 6:30 on WISC-TV with CBS News. Then at 7, our all-local coverage of the election will start on Television Wisconsin. That's channel 3.2, and we'll stream it all at channel 3000 plus. We'll be on throughout the night covering the national and local races with local analysis from political experts. Our election team will also be out live at several watch parties around the state with a reaction to the results as they come in. An historic night you don't want to miss.
A Madison teen is arrested after police say he brought a gun on school grounds. Last Thursday, staff at MMSD called officers after hearing a La Follette High School student may have a gun on school grounds. Police say the student left the school with his belongings and returned a short time later. Officers found the gun tucked underneath a tree a couple of blocks away. The 14-year-old was arrested and charged with possession of a firearm, theft of a firearm, and possession of a firearm on school grounds. We have an update tonight on the Verona car crash that left 5 people dead Friday evening. The crash happened on Range Trail just north of Sunset Drive in the town of Verona. 5 people were in a red 2016 Model S Tesla when the car crashed into a tree and then caught on fire. One man was from Belleville. Another 2 victims were from Crandon, and the last 2 victims were from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Officials are still investigating what caused the crash and the deaths. The names of the victims have not been released.
Dane County is the fastest growing county in Wisconsin. That comes with an increased need for housing and community collaboration. The 2025 Dane County budget looking to address some of those needs. The interim county exec Jamie Kuhn signed the budget today. $30 million will go toward housing, veterans resources, and expanding support for other vulnerable populations. The Community Resource Hub is experiencing an increase in demand for help. In turn, the county is investing $2 million in its programs.
When I introduced the budget in September, I said that we were committed to filling gaps for our community members and increasing access to services in high-needs areas. I said we were dedicated to being a partner in addressing the housing crisis, providing quality mental and behavioral health services, and protecting our natural resources, all while ensuring taxes remain reasonable for families. I believe we have achieved those goals here today.
The money Sunshine Place received will grow its work in northeastern Dane County through renovating and expanding its facilities.
Americans who bought homes for the first time between July of 2023 and June of this year were older and wealthier than in previous years. A new survey from the National Association of Realtors found first-time homebuyers had a median household income of $97,000. That's up from $95,900 last year. And the median age of first-time buyers rose to a new record high of 38 years old. The report underscores the intensifying struggle that many Americans face when buying a home. Prices have rapidly climbed to near record levels, and mortgage rates have remained stubbornly high. Boeing factory workers are voting on whether to finally accept a contract offer and end their weeks-long strike. The troubled aviation company's latest offer includes a 38% raise over 4 years and increase in company contributions to 401k plans, but does not restore pensions. More than 30,000 union members walked off the job more than 2 months ago, demanding a return to traditional pension plans. Union leaders are urging them to accept this deal.
And I understand my brothers and sisters in the union want, what's right. And it's not that we don't deserve it, but it's just Boeing doesn't want to push forward right now. Well, let's fight for it later. I got to keep my eyes on the prize and see, take care of my family one way or another. And this contract is fair for today.
Boeing's airplane production was brought to a near halt amid the strike, costing the company $50 million a day. When we come back at 10, Jacob tells us about the threat for severe weather tomorrow.
And it is Lung Cancer Awareness Month, why doctors say you should get screened for the disease. Stay with us.
Rebecca Cook believes our parents and grandparents should be able to age with dignity. In Congress, she'll vote to strengthen Social Security and Medicare by repealing the tax on benefits, lowering the eligibility age for Medicare, and allowing Medicare to negotiate lower drug costs so our seniors get the prescription drugs they need at prices they can afford. Rebecca Cook, a homegrown Wisconsinite who fights for what's right. Project 218 is responsible for the content of this ad.
National Democrats have been a disaster. Higher prices, open borders, making our communities less safe. They can't run on their record, so they try to distract you by lying about abortion.
Here's the truth. I oppose a national abortion ban. Early in a pregnancy, women should have the right to decide. We should allow for exceptions. And finally, the people of Wisconsin need to decide this issue, not politicians in Washington.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
Todd Novak is a compassionate and independent voice for us in the Assembly, but Elizabeth Grobby will tell any lie she needs to get herself elected. Grobby's dishonesty about Todd Novak is shameful. The truth, Todd Novak passed legislation protecting exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother, and voted to expand access to birth control, not ban it. It's time to reject the desperate and ridiculous lies from Elizabeth Grobby and her radical allies. We deserve better. Todd Novak for Assembly.
Kamala backed Biden on everything. She was the deciding vote for his disastrous economic agenda. They raised taxes on the middle class, and prices soared. Kamala was in charge of his open border policies, giving welfare to illegals while Americans struggle, and their weakness invited wars. Now Kamala wants to double down on failure. It's time to turn the page on Joe and Kamala's failed agenda. President Trump fights for you. His strength kept us safe. Trump cut taxes for families. Prices were lower and the border secure. Now, President Trump can do it again.
And we are going to launch a new golden age of American success for the citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
Remember, Kamala broke it. President Trump will fix it.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Tammy Baldwin has our back. Tammy broke the law to make sure American projects are made with American iron and steel.
Thanks to Tammy Baldwin, my daughter's inhaler is now only $35 a month.
Tammy's Dairy Business Innovation Act has helped us hire more workers.
Tammy Baldwin's leading the charge to restore Roe v. Wade.
Tammy Baldwin fought like hell to save my retirement.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
To have someone in Washington that's got your back, oh man, that's gold.
Shop from the largest selection of Chevy trucks and SUVs in Wisconsin at Bergstrom Chevrolet. All with Bergstrom's negotiation-free upfront pricing, including our exclusive 7-day price protection and money-back guarantees. Stop in or shop and purchase at BergstromChevrolet.com.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. A new study says children and pregnant women should curb their sugar intake.
Researchers found that reducing sugar during pregnancy and up to age 2 may cut a child's risk of chronic illnesses in adulthood. Specifically, it decreased the risk of type 2 diabetes by 35%. It also dropped the risk of high blood pressure by about 20%. Researchers looked at data from before and after the end of the United Kingdom's World War II-era sugar rationing. The study was published in the journal Science. Nearly 3 million adults in the U.S. have epilepsy, and this month experts are explaining what to do when someone is having a seizure. Doctors at the Cleveland Clinic say there are 3 things to remember. The first is to keep the patient safe. Next, turn them on their side. And lastly, stay with them and time the seizure.
Many people who have epilepsy have rescue medications that are prescribed. And if you're a caregiver or a family member and you have those medicines, you can use them as prescribed by your doctor.
Doctors say there are new therapies and medications being studied to help patients with epilepsy. And for those who have drug-resistant epilepsy, there is also surgery.
November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month, and doctors at the UW are urging community members to get screened for the disease. According to the American Lung Association, someone in the U.S. is diagnosed with lung cancer every 2.5 minutes. It's also the leading cause of cancer deaths in the U.S., with around 370 people dying every day. When the disease is detected, though, at an early stage, the 5-year survival rate is about 62%. When caught late, that rate falls to just 7%.
So if we can find out what specific gene is mutated, what specific mutation is driving the cancers and make cells live forever and divide faster, then we can then come up with the drugs that can specifically target the mutation that's driving that cancer growth.
The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force recommends yearly lung cancer screenings for anyone between 50 and 80 years old, has a smoking history of 20 packs or more a year, or has quit within the last 15 years.
Well, if you're heading out to the polls tomorrow to vote in person, make sure you take an umbrella. It's an alert day as a cold front is going to move into the region.
Let's go to Jacob for more on the threat of severe weather. Jacob.
Yeah, we do have that small risk of severe weather, and obviously it is a big day. And if we take a look at the 3 things you need to know, we're going to see the rain, possible severe weather, and it also will be windy throughout much of the day with wind gusts up to around 30 miles per hour. So here's a look at the alert day information. Isolated chance of a strong storm and possibly a weak tornado. Can't completely rule it out, although it is still pretty unlikely. And obviously a lot of people may be waiting in lines outside. That is why we have put out the alert day. Definitely bring your umbrella. Taking a look at the current radar, still seeing those light showers move into southern Wisconsin. We'll see more consistent rain move in overnight, and you can see as we get into the day tomorrow, we do have that chance of severe weather, a marginal risk for Madison and especially points to the north. But everyone will see rain, and those areas around Milwaukee will be seeing heavy rain at times. So here's a look at the severe weather hazards. We're expecting pretty much a 0% chance of hail. Tornado risk is not 0, but it is still pretty low, but can't completely rule it out. Could see some gusty winds, and with the rain we've seen yesterday and today, wouldn't be surprised if we see some minor flooding. Now here's a look at that rainfall forecast. Throughout the night, we'll see that more consistent rain move in. Pretty heavy from Madison and points to the east, kind of opposite of what we saw on Sunday, where the heaviest was off to the west. This will be to the east tonight, and that's going to be the case for tomorrow as well. Now, during the morning, we'll kind of give a break, still seeing some isolated showers and a few pop-up storms, but in the late morning, we'll see a few storms form on that cold front starting just to the west of Dane County, and as they push northeast, this line of storms could possibly produce some severe weather. Best time will be around noon to 2 p.m. for Madison, but even later in the afternoon when the severe weather risk is lighter, take a look at the rainfall forecast for Milwaukee, kind of right in peak election hours. It is expected to get pretty heavy, the rainfall wise, but this is not expected to be severe once it gets to the lake. But we also are going to be dry by the time we get to the evening for much of our area. Could even see some sunshine, then we'll definitely be dry as we head into the overnight hours. So total rainfall could be a little bit, could be a little bit heavier for the south central portion of Wisconsin where those storms fire up, but the southeastern portion of Wisconsin will see the heaviest rain going forward with up to, if not over, an inch of rainfall. So here's a look at Madison's forecast throughout the day. Rain in the morning, and then we could see those isolated storms, possibly some strong storms around noon to 2 p.m. By 3 p.m., we may be dry, and then we'll definitely be dry by the time we get to 5 p.m. Now here's a full look at the 7 to 10 day forecast. We are going to be pretty quiet after Election Day with dry conditions Wednesday through Friday. Temperatures will also be pretty consistent after tomorrow with highs mostly in the 50s. Could see some more rain over the weekend, but at this point in time, we're not expecting as much as we will for the next 24 hours or what we saw yesterday. So like I mentioned, bring the umbrella to the polls because it is going to be raining, although it may be on or off, but when it is on, it could be heavy.
And still to come in sports, Wisconsin men's basketball hosts Holy Cross in their season opener. Highlights next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
During COVID, Joan Balwig took $500,000 in federal loans she never paid back. Then voted to block assistance to help other Wisconsin businesses grow. Joan Balwig, out for herself, not you.
Washington is corrupt. Senator Baldwin says she fights against Wall Street. And yet she lives with a Wall Street executive and gets all this money from Wall Street. She says she's standing up to Big Pharma and Big Tech, but look at the money she rakes in from Big Pharma, Big Tech, and their executives. Senator Baldwin doesn't work for you, she works for them. I'm Eric Hovde, I approve this message. I'm not taking their special interest money, I'll only work for you.
Under Kamala, there's been a big hike in Medicare premiums. Social Security benefits don't go far with Kamala's inflation slamming seniors. Now Kamala wants struggling seniors to pay more Social Security taxes, while she gives Medicare and Social Security to illegals. That will doom Medicare. President Trump will make sure no one cuts Medicare or Social Security. Trump lowered Medicare premiums, and he'll end the tax on Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
We've had enough of this crap from Eric Hovde.
We're tired of his lies.
Hovde spent $100 million on his garbage attack ads.
Smearing Tammy Baldwin and trying to buy our Senate seat.
But we know Tammy Baldwin.
She's protected our jobs.
She's taken on the pharmaceutical companies.
And she's leading the fight to restore Roe v. Wade.
So Eric Hovde, take your lies back to California.
Wisconsin's not for sale.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
We count on gasoline to power our cars, our tractors, our way of life. So why is a city slicker from Miami, Elizabeth Groppe, okay banning gas-powered vehicles? Extremists like Groppe want to eliminate fossil fuels, robbing hard-working families, farmers, and small businesses of their vehicles. Miami Liz's radical ideas hurt our families and our main streets. Don't let Groppe get away with it. Born and raised right here. Todd Novak is our independent voice for common sense, protecting our way of life.
I think we're probably spending too much, throwing too much money on our southern border.
Last month, fentanyl killed my childhood friend. Drugs and criminals are pouring into our communities because Tammy Baldwin voted to open our border and defund our police. I moved here from New York to protect my family, but Tammy's bringing her New York values to Wisconsin. Tammy Baldwin is dangerous.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
This is China, and this is Wisconsin. Joan Ballweg invested thousands of dollars in Chinese companies, but voted against using state funds to help grow companies here in Wisconsin. Joan Ballweg, out for herself, not you.
The wait is officially over. After more than 220 days, Wisconsin men's basketball is back. They opened their season tonight against Holy Cross at the Kohl Center, and early on it did not look good. Holy Cross got out to a 21-5 lead, but then came the Badgers, trailing by 4, and the new guy, John Tonje, bottom of the barrel. The Mizzou transfer makes it a 1-point game late in the first half, and not too long after, it's more Tonje. The former Tiger led the way for Wisconsin with 23 points. Here's one of those threes that gave Wisconsin their first lead of the game, but there was more to it. John Blackwell got his stuff going. He had 16 points, finishes the tough layup, and Wisconsin ends the game on an 80-40 run. Really strong finish. They win it in their opener, 85-61. And the Bucks playing the Cavs. Milwaukee is 1-5 on the season without Giannis tonight. Damian Lillard trying to make it a game late, tied at 108. Pull up, cash money. Bucks take the lead with a minute to go, but the Cavs are undefeated, and they wanted to stay that way. Bucks up 1 point. Darius Garland connects on the tough bucket, and Cleveland takes it late, handing the Bucks another L. Cavs take it 116-114. Heading into the bye week, Matt LaFleur says the Packers have a lot of projects that they'll be spending their time on. But just like Wisconsin football, losing in brutal fashion heading into your bye week, it just kind of stinks, which is also the only way to describe yesterday's loss to the Lions.
The only thing that is hard is to go on a bye after a loss, because this loss will sit with you for a long time. So we got a lot to think about, and I would say over the next 13 days before we play again. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of things that we all have to collectively work on.
And it is a big week for buys. Wisconsin football also headed into their bye week, but we found out when we will see them next in action today. A week from this coming Saturday, Wisconsin will host currently top-ranked Oregon and the Ducks at 6:30. It'll be the Badgers' third straight game under the lights. And check this out, Caroline Harvey was named the WCHA Defender of the Week and also was named the conference's Defender of the Month. In this past weekend's sweep over St. Cloud State, Harvey had 3 assists and a goal. After the bye week, they will play number 2 Ohio State in a national championship rematch. We'll be right back.
I'm Joan Ballwig, and I'm here to set the record straight. I support birth control, the life and health of mothers, extending postpartum care, and fertility treatments, including IVF. I'm Joan Ballwig. I have always fought for Wisconsin moms, and I always will.
National Democrats have been a disaster. Higher prices, open borders, making our communities less safe. They can't run on their record, so they try to distract you by lying about abortion.
Here's the truth. I oppose a national abortion ban. Early in a pregnancy, women should have the right to decide. We should allow for exceptions. And finally, the people of Wisconsin need to decide this issue, not politicians in Washington.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
Donald Trump intends to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations, to cut Social Security and Medicare, to impose what is in effect a national sales tax. When I am president, I will bring down the cost of groceries. My tax plan will give 100 million more Americans a tax cut. And unlike Donald Trump, I will always put the middle class and working families first.
FF Pack is responsible for the content of this ad.
I'm Elizabeth Grabby, and this is Home. Whether it was saving our family farm, starting my small business, or standing up to utility rate hikes, I've learned to solve problems by bringing people together. And right now, we have some real problems to solve. Corporations jacking up prices, and extreme politicians banning abortion. I'm Elizabeth Grabby, and together we can bring down costs and protect the right to make our own medical decisions.
I'm working harder than ever just to pay the bills and provide for my family. But here's what Kamala Harris thought my money should go to instead. Job training for illegal immigrants, even after they commit crimes in America. Hotel rooms for illegal immigrants while our vets sleep on the street. Sex changes for illegal immigrants out of my pocket. Seriously, have these people lost their mind? Kamala Harris can never, ever be our president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Next January, one of us will be president. If it's Donald Trump, he will wake up every day and stew over his enemies list. That will help no one. If I am president, I'll be focused on my to-do list for you, the American people. I'll cut costs by cracking down on corporate price gouging, make housing more affordable, lower taxes for middle-class families, and protect Social Security. I will focus on getting things done. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message. Let's get to work. I, Kamala J.B. Harris, do solemnly swear.
Kamala swore an oath, but Kamala created crisis after crisis. Our troops murdered, an open border, crime in our streets, skyrocketing costs, assassination attempts, Americans abandoned during disasters, and we're on the brink of World War III. A broken oath and a broken America. Kamala can't be trusted in the Oval Office. Vote for President Trump and save America. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Tammy Baldwin has our back. Tammy broke the law to make sure American projects are made with American iron and steel.
Thanks to Tammy Baldwin, my daughter's inhaler is now only $35 a month.
Tammy's Dairy Business Innovation Act has helped us hire more workers.
Tammy Baldwin's leading the charge to restore Roe v. Wade.
Tammy Baldwin fought like hell to save my retirement.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
To have someone in Washington that's got your back, oh man, that's gold.
Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme.
News 3 Now, election night coverage, Tuesday.
Tonight, Colbert's new with Governor Tim Walz.
Bring it in, Coach, for one final pep talk to the voters out there.
Plus John Oliver, tonight on CBS.
Well, the second half of Yellowstone's final season begins this Sunday. The hit drama follows the Dutton family, who controls the largest cattle ranch in the U.S. It's been nearly 2 years since the first part of season 5 ended.
Kevin Costner, who plays patriarch John Dutton, isn't in this half of the season, leaving fans wondering about his fate. The trailer for the return is the most watched teaser in the franchise's history.
You got to watch it, Eric. It's great.
I've seen one episode, but anyway. Breaking Bad.
It's a fantastic show. I love that
really
show.
good.
I know it's very popular. Final check of the forecast. Bring the umbrellas to the polls tomorrow.
Yeah, especially if you're going early. Now, if you're going after 5 p.m., I believe they close at 8 p.m.
That's right.
It will be dry at that point. But if you're going early, on and off rain could be heavy at times as well.
Get out and vote, folks. We'll have all the results for you. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.